Hello, my name is Devin Jones, and welcome to this edition of the Sparx Tribune Report. You can find me on Twitter at the user handle provided in the description box below, and on the Sparx Tribune's website. That's the Sparx Tribune. Sparx is spelled with an X, the sparxtribune.weebly.com, and I'll include a link to that in the description box below, unlike I remembered to do last time, of course. I will also include a link in the description box to the articles I'm about to reference here in this video. State Senator Nina Turner, who was one of Bernie's most outspoken allies during his bid for the presidency in 2016 and 2020, is announcing her bid to run for Ohio's 11th congressional district to replace Marcia Fudge, who's been tapped by the incoming Biden administration to lead the Department of Housing and Urban Development, stuttering today. And her doing so is in a very safe Democratic district. Meanwhile, Newsweek publishes a lie, and I'm about to pull that up right now. It's not even true. Like normally, when it comes to establishmentarian rags like Newsweek, normally I would make the argument, unlike right-wingers and Republicans who like to cry fake news and, say that the media lies. To an extent, you could say they do, but more accurately, you could say that they're normally deceitful. Because a journalist can get fired for publishing a lie. By the way, in this particular case, and I'm pulling it up right now, Newsweek just publishes a flat-out lie. Because Marcia won her election bid this year with over 80% of the vote. She got 80.1% of the vote. Strong, safe Democratic district. And once this page is done loading, I'll read the headline to you. And I'll include a link, again, like I said, in the description box below to all of these articles. Newsweek has so many ads on their website that it's hard to load the freaking headline. But Newsweek, basically, while the page is loading, is making the argument that Nancy Pelosi's Democratic majority is going to get even slimmer. Oh, here it is, finally pulled up. Joe Biden plucking Marcia Fudge from the House makes Nancy Pelosi's slim majority even smaller. That's what the headline reads. And click on the link below in the description box and read it yourself. It's insane. Because it's a falsehood. It's just a lie. Fake news, like the right wing likes to say about the establishment press. Well, in this case, yeah, fake news. Bullshit. So that's what Newsweek had to publish about it. I'm turning now to Politico. Here we are. Top progressive elected officials, groups, and entertainers are throwing their weight behind Nina Turner's congressional campaign, setting up a clash between left-wing and establishment-oriented Democrats over a House seat in Ohio just as President-elect Joe Biden is about to take office. Mentions her supporters or surrogates in power right now. Oh, here we go. Representative Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders' former campaign co-chair, which Nina Turner was also a co-chair of that campaign as well. It doesn't say that. Representative-elect Cori Bush, a Black Lives Matter activist who unseated an incumbent Democrat, and Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison are endorsing Turner, her campaign told Politico. Our Revolution, a progressive organization founded by Sanders and previously led by Turner, will be backing her bid as well. To drum up excitement around her candidacy, liberals, I love their usage of the term liberals there. I think it would be liberals who want to run against Nina Turner, but these same establishment rags really don't know the difference between a liberal and a progressive. All that aside, to drum up excitement about her candidacy, liberals plan on tapping their volunteer base and raising money for her from their small dollar donors. By the way, also, hopefully I can remember all these links in the description box, but if you can, after this video, go to her Act Blue donation page, and if you can afford to donate campaign. If you cannot afford to donate, please share her Act Blue donations page and support Nina Turner's candidacy. We already have establishmentarian Democrats, which actually I'll scroll down on this. Let's see. It lists a couple of the establishmentarian Democrats who plan on running against her. Here we are. I found it. A number of other Democrats are expected to throw their hat in the ring for the rare chance at an open congressional seat. Shontel Brown, the leader of the Cuyahoga County Democratic Party, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, whom Fudge supported when she ran for that post, has said she is running if the Senate confirms the Congresswoman. Because the district is heavily Democratic, like I was saying about the Newsweek article, In the words of George Carlin, bullshit. But where were we at? I keep interrupting myself. Because the district is heavily Democratic, the winner of the primary is all but certain to carry the general election. So which is true? Is the winner of the Democratic primary all but certain to win the general election? Or is Newsweek right? And Nancy Pelosi's slim majority is about to get even slimmer? Well, it states that Fudge got over 80% of the vote. It's a safe area. It's a safe district. I can't get over the Newsweek article. That's crazy. There's a motive behind publishing that. I don't know what the motive is. Anyhow, it says another candidate, former Cleveland City Councilman Jeff Johnson, has already taken a shot at Turner, suggesting that the progressive wouldn't work with Biden if elected. I think we know better than that. It says Turner was a fierce defender of Sanders during the primary, which is true, and criticized Biden in a January op-ed as someone who has let down black voters, citing his former treatment of Anita Hill in relationship with segregationists. Even after Sanders dropped out, she likened voting for Biden to eating half a bowl of shit. Anyhow, you can read this article in its entirety for yourself. That is the Politico article I just read from. But Nina Turner is a very strong progressive firebrand who has supported many different progressive policy positions, including but not limited to Medicare for all, free public college, cancellation of student debt, a Green New Deal, a $15 minimum wage, etc., etc. Strong progressive candidate. And someone, by the way, who would be a fierce advocate for the 99%, for we the people, for the working class, if she was to join the House and inducted into the squad consisting, well, I can't even say how many people. I think people are considering the squad larger than just the 4 members after the most recent elections. I remember reading one article saying that the squad had doubled in size. I don't know what they're considering a progressive. There's like I think I mentioned already that the Progressive Caucus already has over 100 members. But Nina Turner would be one of the most progressive and one of the most lyrically inclined members of the House to be able to put forth policy positions, advocate for progressive ideas, and do so lyrically with a rhetorical fire that would make a big difference in the battles on the House floor and with regard to the battles for hearts and minds on these progressive policy positions. But speaking of the Progressive Caucus, another thing I wanted to discuss is Jimmy Dore's recent push for Medicare for All. Jimmy Dore has pointed out that progressives can force a vote on Medicare for All, and he has outlined doing so by suggesting that members of the Progressive Caucus, or at least the squad, however many in the Progressive Caucus, the majority of the people in the Progressive Caucus support Medicare for All, nominally, supposedly, or to believe, support Medicare for All. Well, if they were to attempt to get something for their vote for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker of the House, that they should prioritize Medicare for All and tell Nancy Pelosi, we're not going to vote for you as Speaker of the House unless you bring Medicare for All up for a vote. To have her state publicly, written to do, make a video to state publicly one way or another that she's going to bring Medicare for All up for a vote on the House floor. Dore has also pointed out that in doing so, in bringing it up for a vote, it would force those who are against Medicare to come out and be against it in the middle of a pandemic, and which would empower Democrats to run on that issue and win because Medicare for All is popular. Now, 89% of those who consider themselves Democrats support Medicare for All. It's almost 70% of the voting population writ large. It would win with the people. So if it doesn't win in Congress, we know why. It's because they're not fighting for us. They're fighting for donors, for lobbyists, for Big Pharma, who lines their pockets. In a literal sense, they donate to their campaigns, and Big Pharma lobbies against these ideas. But it would force them to out themselves as being against the people. To say, no, we don't want to give you Medicare. We don't want to give you health care in the middle of a pandemic. Oh, it would only strengthen the Democratic Party. Why would the Democratic Party want to go against that? And furthermore, and I'll get to the Senate majority in a moment, but we could run on this issue and win. It's popular. Again, Nina Turner supports Medicare for All. I'll throw that out there. But the chair of the Progressive Caucus was called out quite ferociously by Jimmy Dore. Gotta love Jimmy Dore. Called out the chair of the Progressive Caucus and basically accused him of being a career climber, of being ignorant, of not knowing how politics works, and rightfully so, because Representative Mark Pocan has suggested that it's a risk if you don't vote for Nancy Pelosi. And it's only a risk of losing the speakership if you're already admitting that Nancy Pelosi is going to refuse to bring up Medicare for all up for a vote, suggesting that you're risking the speakership. If you say bring it up for a vote or I'm not voting for you, if that's a risk, then you're basically admitting Nancy Pelosi is not going to bring it up for a vote. Why? Another thing Dore has pointed out is they are shielding their colleagues from outing themselves as being against healthcare during a pandemic. Unfortunately, and I love AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who unseated Joe Crowley in New York's 14th congressional district, a stalwart of progressive policy who the left has really fallen in love with, and for good cause, herself came out against the idea on Twitter, suggesting it would be a risk. Why? Why is it a risk? She suggested that instead we should prioritize a $15 an hour minimum wage, which the House has already passed. The Senate, the Republican Senate, is stalwarting the idea. It's not being stalwarted in the House. It's being prevented by the Republican-held Senate. So it's good policy. Medicare for all is. It's good strategically because it gives progressives leverage. We already have leverage. It encourages progressives to use said leverage, and it strengthens the Democratic Party, who can turn around and run on those issues and win, and perhaps flip the Senate. And speaking of flipping the Senate, that is up to the state of Georgia, unfortunately. Great. Progressive policy ideas are dependent upon Georgia. Aren't we all in grand luck today? But anyhow, the Georgia Senate runoff race is going to determine control of the Senate. If only progressives, if only Democrats could run on progressive policy and win. Even in Georgia, it would win, just like in Florida. The $15 an hour minimum wage won in Georgia, even though the Democratic Party did not. Why is that? You tell me. Why did Florida vote to increase the federal minimum, or not federal, the state minimum wage to $15 an hour, and then re-elect a Republican? They voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump won the state of Florida. So why is that? Why did they vote for the Republican and then vote for a progressive policy position? Well, maybe if the Democrats had came out a little stronger and said, we're running on $15 an hour minimum wage, maybe they would have won Florida. It was a pretty tight race. In many states, in almost all of the states, it was a tight race. I mean, my goodness. If Democrats could only embrace progressive policies, maybe they'd win in some of these states. Maybe they could hold those majorities that they're whining and complaining are at risk because of progressives. Fools. Fools. Pardon me. Anyhow, Warnock and Ossoff are wavering, and I'm going to pull this up as well. It's been a wavering tie, essentially, between Warnock and Ossoff and Loeffler and Perdue, respectively, in the Georgia Senate runoff race. And I am on 538. Now I'm on 538. But right now, there is a razor-thin advantage given to Republicans. At least Loeffler. Perdue and Ossoff are at a tie at 49%. Warnock is at 47% with Loeffler at 50%. It's a tight race. Previously, Warnock had 47% and Loeffler had 46%. The Democrat being Warnock here had a 1% lead over the Republican, over Kelly Loeffler, in that race. And it's been wavering basically back and forth between razor-thin margins on one side or the other, increasingly risky as the runoff election draws nigh. And again, I'm going to remember, I swear, to put links in the description box to all of these articles. But that's where the possibility of a Democratic-controlled Senate lies, is with Georgia, unfortunately. And if only Democrats would embrace these progressive policies that they're accusing progressives of preventing them from having. It doesn't make any strategic sense. It doesn't make any political sense. These people are full of crap. Anyhow, In closing, I would basically like to say that, I almost forgot. If Georgia elects these two Democrats in the Senate, the possibility of a $15 an hour minimum wage is much higher, because Joe Biden claims he's for $15 an hour minimum wage. If he gets the chance and then doesn't, then people like Jimmy Dore are going to be proven to be correct when they point to, like, for instance, the healthcare during the Obama administration, when they, at least during the first term, had a supermajority. The Senate, the House, the presidency, Democratic. What did he do? He passed a right-wing healthcare plan, Romney Care, essentially. Came from the Heritage Foundation, is where it originated from, a corporate giveaway. That's what Obama did instead of Medicare for all. And to this day, watching interviews with Barack Obama, he claims that he is in support of the idea of Medicare for all. He just acts as though it's unrealistic. The same people, again, accusing progressives of being the ones preventing a Democratic majority from being in control. Anyhow, if you can, to go back to the first bullet point with regard to Nina Turner and her bid for Ohio's 11th congressional district, go to Nina Turner's Act Blue donation page. If you can afford to donate anything, $3 even, to Nina Turner's campaign, please do so. If you cannot, please share her Act Blue donation page. Share it on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, any social media platform that you are active on. Get the word out, if nothing else. Get the word out about Nina Turner's bid for Ohio's 11th congressional district to replace Marcia Fudge and fill that vacant seat. Thank you for listening. This has been the Sparx Tribune Report, and you have a nice day.